Despite the setbacks of 1970, in November the band had returned to the studio to begin work on their follow-up to Morrison Hotel. Yet early into these sessions, the Doors' normal recording process broke down. Unhappy with the new material, producer Paul Rothchild had quit, leaving engineer Bruce Botnick to take the reins.
The Doors had been in rehearsal, trying to get the new album together, what was to become the L.A. Woman album. I went to several rehearsals, and Jim especially was really bored. Couldn't really get himself up for it. I said, this album is going to be a disaster. One moment, I just got up, went into the studio, and said, hey, listen, I'm bored. The first time in my life I've been in a studio and I've had my head down on the console. And I told him, hey, look, I love you guys and I love the music, but it seems to me that you're not turning me on and I'm not turning you on. I want your career to survive and my career is going to survive. So why don't you go on yourself, produce yourselves.
Paul walked out the door. Bruce Botnick said, I'll produce it. We said, all right, man, let's do it.
All our attitudes were pretty good when we made L.A. Woman because we were in more control of what we were doing. At first we were a little insecure about doing it, but as we got into it, it just came quick.
Bruce Botnick brought all the equipment over to our rehearsal studio, and we recorded very much like the first album, virtually all live, man. Live vocals. Jim sang in the bathroom, man. We got bathroom echo on it. He'd be in the bathroom, we'd be in the little rehearsal room. We put it all down right then, right there.
So this Gay and Lesbian Community Center building was our old office. Upstairs was our office. Downstairs was our rehearsal room where those sliding glass doors are. And that's where we recorded L.A. Woman. It was our spot.
By January 1971, Botnick had enlisted two notable outsiders to complement the band's new sound. Session bassist Jerry Sheff and Mark Benno, a young blues guitarist from Texas who had made his name working with Leon Russell.
Man, that was an intense record. God, it was an intense record. We had a small room that had cables everywhere and loads of equipment, just mics everywhere, just crowded and crap, and then a drive-in movie talkback speaker. It was just a little down and out room. I was just thinking, this will never work. This is going to sound like shit. I mean, we're down here doing this garage stuff. I don't know why they would pass on having the best studios Wally Hyder right across the street. I don't know what we're doing. After hearing a few cuts, I thought, well, this is amazing. Bruce has got this stuff sounding, yeah, it sounds a lot better than I thought it was going to, so I'm just going to play down there, you know. And it was cool because Jim was knocking over mics, tripping over stuff. There was stuff everywhere, and he didn't want to just stand still, you know, and be appropriate. He went guerrilla rock on the whole deal. He was an inspiration. I mean, once he'd get into it, it was like I realized that he didn't need an audience, that he was going to do Jim Morrison to get into his vocals, his intensity for his messages. He was into it all the way, so, you know, it made me want to get into whatever I could contribute.
Whatever Morrison's frustrations, on its release in March 1971, the album L.A. Woman was warmly received by those critics who had accepted the band's new blues-influenced approach.
I think in L.A. Woman, I mean, Morrison had recuperated enough, had enough distance from Miami, although that was still dogging him. But, you know, he was able to get in touch with his artistic self again. It was, you know, in some senses the music was simpler and not as avant-garde as the first couple of albums. But there was also this eerie edge to it that made it, I think, what Doors fans always wanted.
L.A. Woman is probably my favourite Doors album. On paper, it should have been a complete failure. I mean, it's at the end of their career. It should be a very jaded album. What amazes me about it is how energetic it is. You'd have thought it was going to be a very jaded reflection on LA, and that musically it would sound jaded because they were at the end of their career and all the rest of it. But no, not at all. It's actually, it reminds me more of what somebody would do for a debut album. It's incredibly energetic. I mean, Morrison's vocal execution is at times frantic. The much discussed title track is, in many people's view, the key to the album. It's a wonderful evocation of that LA noir, but you can see a great sense of excitement in Morrison's approach to it. I mean, when he talks about topless bars and cops in cars, he's relishing that imagery and is becoming part of it. The whole idea of the LA woman, he's pursuing her and he's the hunter of her. He's not somebody that's abandoning her and saying, I've been through all this with a jaundiced sense of debauchery. It's almost like he's arrived in LA that afternoon. It's tremendously energetic, and that's reflected in the music as well. But Morrison's vocal sounds positively passionate. It was an album that should have ended the Doors on an anticlimactic note in a sense, but it doesn't. It's as thrilling as the debut in many respects, and I think that there's a wonderful symmetry between the excitement that you experienced upon first hearing that Doors album and how original it was, and this final album, which is unlike any final album I've ever heard from any other band in a sense. It really is for a group that have done half a dozen albums in such a short period to go out on such a high. You'd have expected them to go out with another Soft Parade where it's just diffusion, and you got Robbie, you do a song, Jim, you do a song. Oh, I can't be bothered. It's the end of the thing anyway. But it's not. I mean, it sounds like they could have gone on and done another 6 albums.
Ray, I think you're the one that when you feel like it's about ready to start, come down an octave or something. So yeah.
They say I never loved you. You know they are a liar. Driving down your freeways, midnight alleys roam. Cops in cars, the topless bars, never saw a woman so alone, so alone, so alone, alone, so alone, yeah. Motel money, murder madness. The chain of food for glad to sadness. Oh, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising. Mr. Mojo Rising, got to keep on rising. Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising, Mr. Mojo Rising. Keep on rising, keep on rising, 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 You got
happened our contract with Electro was finished with that album, and we all wanted to take a break.
We ain't got long to go, no.
Contradictory accounts and curious details regarding the actual pattern of events shrouded the charismatic frontman's death in mystery, and to this day debates continue as to how, and even if, Morrison died. Yet the singer's passing affected not only the band and those who knew him, but popular music and culture itself. Along with the deaths of Janis Joplin and Jimi Hendrix, Morrison represented one of the most significant casualties of the 1960s counterculture.